Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Coming up on today's show, we're going to catch up with Leslie Kendall and her daughter, Kendall Kim. You remember Leslie from Comcast Sportsnet fame? Well, her daughter, Kendall, suffered AVM disability, and as a result, she's forced to play golf with one arm. Hasn't stopped her, though, and we had a look at what they did recently at Whitemarsh Valley Country Club, a little 9-hole scramble that involved some local celebrities. Even the Philly Fanatic was there to give it a try. Also coming up on our show today, back are the 3 M's, Meg, Marissa, and Megan, on Make Golf Your Thing. And we're going to get a little chipping lesson from Meg Donahue, an assistant pro at Manufacturers Country Club. So, a lot coming up today on Inside Golf, and it's coming up next. The 25th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By Gap, celebrating 125 years of amateur golf. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. By the Haverford Trust Company. For life's must-haves, there's Haverford. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA Section, the experts in the game and business of golf.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
Welcome back to Inside Golf, and today we are really happy to have Leslie Kendall with us. Good to see you again, especially on Inside Golf, talking about specifically, Leslie, your daughter, Kendall, had a difficulty years ago, medical difficulty that left her basically paralyzed in her, right arm?
Her left arm.
Left arm.
Yes, she had a stroke from an AVM. It's called, it's arteriovenous malformation. AVM is much easier. And it caused a brain bleed. Hers happened to be particularly large, so she recovered from the stroke, but she was left with left-sided deficits, her left hand, and then she has a slight drop in her left foot and a little bit of vision loss from the radiation treatment, actually. So we knew that would happen, but in order to save her life, we knew that trying to get rid of the AVM was the best thing to do.
Yeah, and I read somewhere the paperwork leading up to this day that she's had her ups and she's had her downs, but she never gives up.
Doesn't. She really is. And I think what we say is, okay, you're allowed to have a pity party. We have our pity parties here and there, but, you put an end to them after, 15, 20-minute cry and say, you know what, it's time to just put on your big girl pants and we move on, because you can sit around and play victim, or you can actually turn a disability into an ability and make something of it.
In this golf event, one-arm challenge, second year for it. Whose idea was it, and how did it work out last? I guess good enough that you're having it again.
Well, it sort of evolved naturally because Kendall was out. She had golfed prior to her stroke, or learned how to golf. In fact, had such a great stroke that the guy teaching her said, could you just quit school so I can just coach you? And she was an athlete. And so she missed being in sports. So I took her out to the driving range and she just hit the ball one-handed. I posted it on Twitter and it went viral. Next thing I know, Nick Faldo sent 3 separate 2-minute one-handed golf lessons.
Really?
In 3 consecutive days. He sent the first one and I said things, some expletives that I was like, holy,
Yeah.
And he sent another one the next day and one the next day, and it just became this really cool story over the course of a week. and over 1 million views and all of that stuff. And she ended up, we started talking about it. We're like, okay, how do we turn this into something? We're like, well, it was gimmicky last year. What happened as a result, which I wasn't expecting, was that there was such awareness that left everybody with on what it's like to actually be disabled. And so I think everybody left here going, wow, that's hard. And so we only do 9 holes because we know it's a bit challenging.
Well, congratulations, and good luck with today's event. Good luck going forward, and you're to be, encouraged and rewarded by a lot of people for what you've done to make a disability a positive impact, not only in golf, but in somebody's life, especially your own daughter.
Thank you so much, Harry. Appreciate it.
Good luck today. I know it's hard and it's hot. My hands are pruny in this.
Well, here is Leslie's daughter,
I know it's hot.
Kendall Kem.
Hello.
And you have a golf tournament named after you and everything.
Yeah.
But, we heard from your mom about your medical history over the past few years. Mm-hmm. Basically, I guess if I were to sum it up, it hasn't stopped you from doing anything, including playing golf one-handed. What's the secret?
I mean, just getting out there. I mean, I lost so much through my medical stuff, and the love of sports came from Mom at the ballpark all these years, and if it wasn't for softball and baseball, I wouldn't be playing any other sport. So golf, it came from the love of sports, and I wanted to play. I didn't want to be the disabled kid at a high school. I'm 18. I want to be as normal as possible, so really all the drive comes from that. I want to show other people that it's okay to be different, because a lot of people don't have the courage to get out there, and I've kind of worked it up over the last few years, but yeah, it's just kind of getting out there and having fun, and it's a fun game. It's not consistent. Everyone's going to mess up. It's a one-handed golf tournament. Who's going to get it right every time?
Do you have much contact with other kids like you that have gone through the same thing?
Yeah, I talk with AVM survivors all the time. I have friends who are my age, older, but I'm in contact all the time. It's just nice to know that you're not alone. I mean, it's really lonely at first because no one hears about an AVM. I mean, you hear about an aneurysm, which I have too, but an AVM, no one hears about it. It's not talked about enough, and a lot of people don't come out with their story enough because it's scary. So talking with more people that have it is really important because you just kind of feel there's that home for you.
Kendall, good luck to you. You're starting college in the fall down at Belmont, and you've come a long way, and there's nothing stopping you, right?
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
And at this second annual Kendall's One Arm Challenge, nothing but stars showing up at Whitemarsh Valley Country Club. The A-list of celebrities included Ricky Patalico, Larry Boa, Michael Barkan, and, looking rather jazzy, was Snappy Gilmore. Now, in addition to rocking it with that colorful outfit, Snappy was there to show everybody how to hit it one-handed. Well, you're here basically to give people some tips on how to play golf with one hand.
Yeah, pretty much that's how I play, adapt to it, and I'm willing to definitely teach people who are unfortunate to, be able to play at normal, due to maybe incidents that happened. And yeah, it's a pleasure to do that.
Right. You actually gave a tip, I think, was it this morning?
Yeah.
To Kendall?
Yes.
Yeah, and I watched her. She got a little loop action at the top of her swing. That's something that you said may help?
Just add to it, and she was crushing him. I was like, no way. Yeah, so I guess, it definitely works for people, Yeah.
Well, what are you going to be doing here on this first hole?
I'm just going to be teeing off for groups, come through and, hit balls.
Share a tip or two?
Yeah, give them lessons every here and there, yeah.
Snappy Gilmore. Check him out, TikTok. He's here today at Whitemarsh Valley helping these guys and ladies find a new groove in their swing. Go down there. These guys are going to need some help, I think.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. I appreciate
Good luck.
it.
Thank you. Well, Snappy was able to give lessons as best he could, but nobody hit it better than Kendall. We want to thank her and her mom, Leslie Goodell, for inviting us out to Whitemarsh to help promote the charity event that raised a lot of money and also shed some light on AVM and that disability. All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to get a chipping tip from Meg Donahue, assistant pro at Manufacturers Country Club, on our segment, Make Golf Your Thing. That's next here on Inside Golf.
Do you think this Valley Forest vacation was your idea? We've been controlling this the whole time. This racing game is great, but nothing beats the real thing.
That sloth you think I love so much gets me a free trip to the zoo.
They don't know they're hungry yet, but I do. I'm starving!
Charlie, Charlie! Works every time.
Just wait until you see what I plan for the next trip. Visit Valley Forge, where kids make the rules.
The oldest state or regional golf association in the country hits a milestone this year. GAP celebrates its 125th birthday. Celebrating amateur golf since 1897, GAP has evolved to include 300-plus member clubs, more than 90,000 individual members. It offers events for males and females of all ages and ability levels. GAP continues to uphold its mission to preserve, protect, and promote the game of golf. Happy birthday, GAP. And welcome back to Inside Golf. You know, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about how we're trying to make golf your thing and getting some tips from Meg Donahue, assistant pro at Manufacturers Country Club. Well, class is ready to go again. We got another tip from Meg for Meg and Marissa. And this time, Meg Donahue is going to be talking about chipping when you're around the green.
Welcome back to another edition of Make Golf Your Thing. I am with Megan and Marissa, and today we are going to cover how to chip the ball onto the green. Okay, so to get started with, so in our first lesson, just a reminder, just to check in, our first lesson we worked on learning how to hold the club and our setup and basically the body motion, right? Mm-hmm. Second lesson we worked on getting that little white ball into the hole, putting, yes, right? So something that you'll come into contact with a lot is that a lot of times we hit the ball, but we don't quite get it onto the green, and we're right next to the green. Okay? In some situations, you could actually putt what you were taught last week, but in many situations, you can't use your putter. The good news is there's a lot of similarities between putting and chipping. You're basically putting with a golf club in your hand. All right, so chipping. Chipping is when I am really close to the hole here, to the green, and I want to get it, my main goal in chipping is I want to get it on the green as quick as possible and let it roll to the hole, okay? So obviously I wouldn't be able to take a big swing here, right? So we have to take a little swing. I'm actually going to ask you to stand right over here, and I'm going to demonstrate. So in our putting lesson, right, all we learned was that Y. Do you remember that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I wanted to keep the Y together the whole time. Okay, so basically with chipping, you're doing the same thing with a golf club in your hand. Okay, so all I'm doing is sweeping the ground and keeping this Y together the whole time.
So we're swinging through with a chip.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember from our first lesson when I talked about that this little white thing is not your target? Mm-hmm. Where we want the ball to go is our target, yes. Right? So the key word that you just said is so awesome. We got to go through, okay? So we got to hit the ball. The ball's going to kind of doink up, pop out, whatever you want to say. Doink. You doink the ball, and then it brushes through.
You're getting really technical with this on this doinking.
The doinking, I know.
No, I love that tip. The ball just gets in the way.
The ball just gets in the way. Yeah. And the other tip, too, is that this club is designed to sweep the grass.
Okay.
We want to sweep the grass. Okay, when we don't sweep the grass, what happens is we're using this technique.
Yep.
We're trying with our hands, okay? So that's why it's so important to really get the feeling of that shoulders making the motion or your core making the motion, and not your hands making the motion.
Okay.
Okay? I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they get so focused on that hole. They're like, all right, I got to get it to that hole, and they are so focused on the hole and they go way past the hole.
All right.
That's not the target, okay? In chipping, our target is always going to be right close to us.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a visual here. So your target is going to be about right there. That's where you're trying to land it.
Okay.
For you, you're going to be about right here. And that's where you're trying to land it. So there's two things that can actually help us kind of control that ball. You're going to place the ball placement towards the back of your foot.
Okay.
And you're going to put the weight on your front foot. Okay. And what that does is it allows me to hit the ball and then the ground, and I have a little bit more control.
Okay.
When we're trying to just sweep from here, we don't get that pop too much, right? It's kind of hard. So by just putting the weight on our front foot and having that ball towards the back of your stance, you actually will just pop the ball up.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes. Yeah. Right? It's a
Makes
little bit
sense,
easier.
yeah.
Okay?
Not as planted.
Yes. One of the great drills I do with my students is it's called the flamingo drill.
I love flamingos.
Yeah, flamingos.
I do.
So you're going to take your right toe and you just put it in the ground, okay? And try to sweep the ground, but that's how much weight I'm talking about that I want on your front foot. And when I say front, I mean left. So if by putting our ball in the back of our stance and our weight on our front, it's actually teaching you, oh, I got to hit down on the ball. I have to hit the back of the ball. The ball's going to pop up, and then I have to go through. So this actually will help you with your full swing as well as your chipping.
Little hard.
Okay, but how'd you feel about the contact?
A lot better.
Yeah. Megan,
I was
much
thinking
better.
about everything but the ball.
Excellent.
Is kind of what I was doing.
Excellent. That's good. The ball just gets in the way. See how I'm going to draw a line here. So that ball is off your front foot. Okay, we want to have the ball.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to adjust that right there.
Okay, I see.
And then that promotes us, right? Hitting the ball and then the
Gotcha.
ground.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I don't think I was doing that.
Correct. There you go. Wow. Yeah, look at that. All right, so you and I are almost about the same size, right? Okay, so you're gonna follow my lead. You're gonna come in a little closer.
Okay.
Good, there you go. And then just make sure that weight's on your front foot. Good.
Okay, back, back that far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Just try to sweep the grass. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, girls, so can you see how vitally important it is to learn how to control the golf ball, right? And getting it on the green, right? So new golfers, it can be so frustrating when they get up close to the green and they're going back and forth and back and forth. But if you can learn the proper way to control it, get it on the green as quick as possible, just let it roll to the hole, right? Treat this shot like a putt. Golf can become a lot easier in a quicker, speedier time frame. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Next up, our Teed Off panel talks about golf and how it can improve your mental health.
My full-time career.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues with our Teed Off panel from our home of Teed Off, Lulu Country Club. We're on the back deck here in Upper Dublin. Beautiful view, beautiful golf course, perfect weather. And for more information on how you can be here at Lulu, go to their website, lulucc.com. Back with us again, a member here at Lulu, Mr. Jim Sullivan.
Welcome to the Lou, Harry.
Good to see you. Always great to be back at the Lou with you.
Thanks for having me.
We're really going on here. We're a marketing campaign. Speaking of marketing, this guy does it better than anybody. Swinging and Dinging, you've probably heard about it, with Jeff Moore. His partner is Harry Mays. You guys do a great job promoting the game, telling a lot of stories, and interviewing some great people.
So we might be growing. We might be adding to our team. Stay tuned.
Oh.
We might be adding a new voice.
He likes to tease you. A good marketing ploy. And the Director of Communications for the Philly section of the PGA, Mr. Matt Fry. Matt, I picked this up. I think probably it was my wife's idea, okay? She brought to my attention that some recent studies have shown that a regular exercise routine, and let's face it, people are getting more and more into exercise and fitness, results in almost a 50% less bad mental health day per month, okay? And anything we can do to improve our mental health is worth it. So among the routines that are mentioned prominently are like walking or yoga or boxing, spin classes, but I didn't see golf. Now, is there a reason for that, or are they just not into golf? What do you think? Is golf going to improve your mental health, or is it going to maybe not improve it?
I think if you don't get hung up on your score, it'll definitely improve.
Tell me how you can do that.
Well,
that's another topic.
Yeah, that's another episode. I mean, honestly, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and if I go a few weeks without playing, I can really feel it. The difference I feel though is I walk a lot, and I don't get the same benefit, I don't believe, from playing golf unless I'm walking.
Okay.
It really helps me kind of work out the ordeal, and I get more time to talk with my playing partners, and I can't say enough about golf for your mental health.
There you go. Okay, so you would add golf to the list.
100%.
How about it, Jeff?
So I don't think golf is exercise unless you're walking. I think people say, oh, I played golf, I got exercise in. If you're driving in a cart and you're eating a hot dog at the turn, it's not exercising. On the mental health side, for me, it's so much different if I'm playing during the week or on the weekends or vacation, because one email that I check my phone can change my entire mental health for that day. And I think it is dependent on how you're playing. If you're playing well, you're in a good state of mind. But to me, anytime I'm out on the golf course, that's where I would like to be, and it definitely helps in the long run.
Is golfing, whether it's walking or riding in a cart, one of your favorite exercises?
Yeah, well, for sure. It's one of my favorite activities, absolutely. The mental health side of it, and that question is actually a great one, because I enjoy walking the golf course more than riding. If I could ever figure out how to not worry about my score, I would probably be happy every time I walk off the golf course. So, those are the challenges of, and so I'd love to say yes, golf is good for your mental health, but as often as not, I come off the course wondering what in the hell I did that for.
Right.
Walk 4 or 5 miles, hit a golf ball a little bit. There's a lot of benefits, but I need to figure out how to go in with that attitude where you're not too concerned about your score, because then your score always ends up better when you do that as well.
You think?
I mean, 100% of the time.
So don't think about...
If you could find a way to turn off your concern about any little bad shot.
Stop counting and just go out there and enjoy it, and you won't be counting up as many
If you could,
strokes.
yeah, if you could.
That's interesting. I know every time I leave to play the game of golf, my wife, if she's there, will say, have a good time. And, I used to always say to her, only if I win,
Yeah.
and that's part of
Some
what
to
you're
that,
saying,
yeah.
I mean, when can I just say, of course I'm going to be golfing, it's my favorite activity. But once you get out there, especially if you're playing a little friendly match or whatever, you tend to start counting and saying, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Swing thoughts get complicated. And like you said, if we could only learn how not to do that, we'd enjoy the game more.
Yeah, I'm certainly no expert, because I suffer from that myself, getting down on myself in my game. But I always try to remind myself, I'm not playing for anything important here. I'm not doing this for my full-time career. Everything's going to be fine, even if I shoot over 80 today.
Right. When you get out there and it starts off bad, how do you get yourself out of that slump?
That's
mentally.
Usually how it goes. I have some really good friends and playing partners that I choose to play with, right? And I think that's the best part of the game, are the people that you play with, and they always pick you up, right? That's our group. It's don't worry about it. We'll get it on the next hole, and it's just concentrating on the next shot. And that's the great thing about the game of golf. You go to the next hole, you start over, and you have a chance to improve on your skills.
Right. I mean, do you overanalyze yourself when it's gone bad for you, like over a stretch of holes? I mean, how do you get yourself? Because you were a pretty good player, and there's got to be days though when you're not as good as what you think you should be.
And it's not easy to do. There's days where you're successful at turning it around, and days where you're not. And those days where you can is mystifying, and the days where you do, you'd like to bottle that, because as often as not, you start out not great, right? I mean, if you think about average, then there's only some of the times better and some of the times worse. So the times you start out poorly, some of my best rounds started out with a bogey. And whatever happens in those next couple holes, and your mind changes and relaxes, and some very disappointing rounds start out with a birdie. I mean, the mental.
That's the curse of the first hole birdie.
It's an interesting dynamic.
Too confident, too fast?
Or? Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
Golf consumes what? Average 4 hours. You're out there, okay? You got 20 other hours of the day. How much does the rest, and I'll end on this, how much of the rest of the day is influenced by what happens during those 4 hours on the golf course for you?
Oh boy.
Either way, either in a positive or negative way.
Honestly, I think it has more to do for me personally about the experience rather than my score. I've done a pretty good job in the past few years concentrating more about my time on the golf course with the people I was with, rather than, I shot a 83 today.
Right. Well, this is like the new Mr. Rotella. You're a sports psychologist more than you are, anything else when you get out there. So
I wish I could charge his rates.
You got his rates. Write a couple books, and go on Swinging and Digging It, the podcast, and we'll get you out there. Gentlemen, thank you. We'll be back. More of Inside Golf in a moment. Designed by Donald Ross, Lulu Country Club is one of the premier private golf courses in Montgomery County. This classic 18-hole course boasts a new state-of-the-art clubhouse with many amenities for members to enjoy. Members are invited to play in events, tournaments, and enjoy guest privileges. For more information, contact membership at lulucc.com.
While most drivers spend their lives going from point A to B, in America, we're all about point X. That's why our most versatile BMW X-Range vehicles are proudly manufactured right here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. The BMW X-Range, your next X-Venture starts here.
Visit your local BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. And next week, we continue with our series celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Golf Association of Philadelphia. Our panel will talk about how GAP has changed and maybe not changed over the past 125 years. I'm Harry Donahue, and remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. We'll see you next week right here on Inside Golf. The 25th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By GAP, celebrating 125 years of amateur golf. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. By the Haverford Trust Company. For life's must-haves, there's Haverford. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA Section, the experts in the game and business of golf.